Hi YouTube, my name is Laura for folks who are just joining me, and my channel here is Aquamarine18. Welcome if you are stopping by for the first time, and welcome back and hi if you've been here before. So I'm just coming on quickly with a VR to a tag. So on his channel on the Cusp Tarot, Y has started a tag called 7 Days, 7 VRs. And I'll link below both to the video where he explains 7 days, 7 VRs, as well as the video where he introduces the questions for this tag, which is hashtag rapid fire on the cusp, which is 20 questions that he's provided. So for 7 days, 7 VRs, Y has included a tag of his own, which is this one, as well as 6 others, so to make the 7 days, 7 VRs. Inviting everyone to respond over 7 days to each one. So some of the tags that are in the list I've already done. So the My First Tarot tag is in there, which I actually have responded to twice already, before and after I found my first deck. And there's one other in there that I've already done as well that now I can't remember. Oh, actually I do know what it was. It was the Who I Desire to Be tag, which is started by Jeff at the Tattooed Spirit. So I had already done those, but I hadn't done the others. I haven't looked at all the questions for all of them yet to know if they're all necessarily totally kind of applicable and relevant to me. So I'm not necessarily going to commit, I'm not going to commit actually at all, to doing 7 days, 7 VRs as intended, one per day, particularly since some of them I have already given my answers to. But I wanted to hop on and make a quick response to Y's tag, the rapid fire on the cusp, 20 questions. I haven't done many of these tags that are more kind of general type questions about myself, so I thought that it would be fun. And there's a couple of other tags that I may jump on and answer as well. We'll see what happens. So thanks to Y for putting these questions out. And if I'm looking off kind of to the side and down, it's because I've got the questions written down. I haven't prepared answers or anything like that, but I printed them out and I've got them on the back of my laptop screen here, so that I can kind of see what it is that I'm answering as I go. So for Y's tag, he has put 20 questions, 10 of which are his own, and then 10 of which come from the Inside the Actor's Studio questionnaire. So I'll just go through all 10 of his questions first, and then the Actor Studio questions second. So without further ado, that's a 3-minute introduction to what will probably be a very short video. I always say it'll be a short video, and it never is. Here we go. Okay, so question number 1 that Y has asked is, what is your astrology sign? My sun sign is Pisces. I very much feel that I'm a Pisces sun, very descriptive of me. For folks who are interested or curious, my moon sign is Taurus, and my rising or ascendant sign is Sagittarius. And all of these resonate with me in different ways. I'm working on learning about astrology more ongoingly. I'm by no means an expert, very much a beginner, but learning more about my own chart has really given insights into myself in the ways that I don't feel like a Pisces sun. I can kind of find reasons elsewhere in my chart as to why that might be. The Taurus moon explained a lot. So yeah, Pisces sun is my short answer. His second question, what is your Chinese horoscope animal? My Chinese horoscope animal is the rabbit. Specifically, it is the fire rabbit. So you can probably go back and figure out what year I was born in if you like. So the fact that my Chinese horoscope animal is the fire rabbit is pretty much the only thing that I know about the Chinese horoscope or about Chinese astrology. Embarrassingly, I know very, very little about it. I don't really even know much about the rabbit, but I know that my animal is in fact the rabbit. Question number 3, what is your spirit animal? I do not have one. I do not use the language of spirit animal to describe anything to do with my practice. I do very much so enjoy working with animal energies and inspirations and animal oracle decks are my absolute favorite. But the idea of a spirit animal, I have concerns for me personally. And those concerns relate around cultural appropriation, and cultural appropriation particularly from indigenous communities and traditions here on Turtle Island or North America, where I live, but I'm not an indigenous person. And so spirit animal is a kind of concept or term that I have heard raised many times in kind of conversations about cultural appropriation. So it's not one that I work with. And I'll just leave it at that. In terms of the kind of spirit of the question, I guess, in terms of whether there are particular animals that I identify more closely with or feel more in tune with, or something like this. From childhood, polar bear was my favorite animal, and I still love polar bears for many, many reasons. Seeing them swim, I really, really like seeing polar bears swim. Squirrel, I think, partly because I think squirrel is probably the animal, aside from cats and humans, that I see the most often. But I love animals. I really love all animals. I wouldn't even say, I have 2 cats, as many of you know, but I wouldn't even describe myself as necessarily kind of more a cat than a dog person, or more this type of animal person than that. Really just animals in general. I really, really love. Question 4. What is your favorite color? Green is my favorite color. My dining room wall is green, as you can see. That green continues into the living room, which is behind me. My home office is green. A few walls in my bedroom are green. I find it to be a very soothing color, a very comfortable color. Though the green on my bedroom walls is actually called retro avocado. It's quite bright. It's not a soothing green like this one. But I love all shades of green. I love wearing green. I love green crystals. I love green jewelry. I got new green silicone eyelets, you can maybe see. Green is my favorite color. What is your favorite food? I love food. So it's really, really hard to pick a favorite food. So I'll say perhaps one of my favorite foods right now is tacos. And I like tacos because they can really be anything. So it's kind of a cheating answer. Tacos can include many, many, many kinds of diverse fillings and flavors and types of cuisine. And I like that about them. My partner and I also make tacos almost every week. Usually it's Taco Wednesdays, though not necessarily always, depending on what we're doing. And I've really enjoyed doing that. I love taco night. I love going out for tacos. So tacos are a favorite. Favorite food, if I was going to go out to a restaurant where I live, there's a restaurant nearish to my house. That's the one that I always pick for my birthday. And it's a kind of South Asian and Tibetan cuisine. And I always pick the same dish. And it's a Hokkien noodle dish with a red curry sauce with bok choy and peppers and lime leaves. So that's my favorite food to eat out at a restaurant where I live. That, if I get to, it's my night to pick, and there's no limits, and I get to pick going out for dinner. That's the dish, the Hokkien noodles with the red curry sauce. Where are you from? I am from Ontario, which is also where I am now. I grew up in the very, very kind of south tip of Ontario on the border to Michigan. So Ontario, Canada, in a city called Sarnia. It's pretty small. 70, I don't know how many, like 75,000 people or something like this. So that's the city that I'm from. Where are you living? I kind of just said. I'm now living in central Ontario. The place where I live is Nagojwanong, the place at the end of the rapids, place at the mouth of the river. It's better known as Peterborough, Ontario, on the map. And it's like, for folks unfamiliar with Ontario geography, I live northeast of Toronto, if that helps, in the Kawartha Lakes region. What is your pet peeve? Okay. I didn't make answers to this ahead. I will say, okay, when I think of pet peeve, I think of pet peeve as a thing that annoys you, right? Like like when someone else does this or this happens, or this is kind of in your proximity, you're annoyed by it, right? It's not kind of maybe the most severe thing, but it's a pet peeve is like a thing that bugs you, right? So there's lots of things that I really don't like, but pet peeve, I'm going to focus on kind of the smaller, more mundane, more everyday kinds of things, I guess. And one that stands out that I can say is having multiple conversations go on at one time, if that makes sense, or trying to have a conversation while talk radio is also playing, things like this, trying to needing to try to focus on what someone's saying with a lot of other unrelated things being said really close to me is something that I really struggle with. And I'm not sure why that is. I've always kind of been that way. So when people are kind of all talking over each other, that's a pet peeve for me because it makes it hard for me to listen attentively and concentrate very well. Number 9, coffee or tea. I like both, but I'm going to say coffee because coffee I drink daily in the morning. Usually 2 cups, 3 cups, not too much, but I drink black coffee, dark roast preferably, every day. I also like tea. I also like iced tea in the summer, but I don't drink tea nearly as often, so coffee. Number 10, which tarot/oracle/playing cards deck do you really want to buy next? Well, why? Always a difficult question, right? The what's on the wish list question. And I have to say, I mean, there are certainly some decks that are on my wish list, so there's a few that are kind of, if I could buy but are out of print, but if I saw one at a price I could afford, that I would definitely buy it next, but that I don't necessarily anticipate seeing readily available. And I don't have anything sitting in my cart. I don't have anything, I have a few Kickstarter backs that I've done that aren't here yet, but I don't know what I want to buy next. I guess one that I will say, because I know it's one that I want to add to my collection, whether it's next or whether it's immediate or whether it's really soon is another question, but the Divine Feather Messenger Oracle, which is the deck probably many have seen. It has all the backs of the cards are different, and each one has a different feather, and they're watercolor paintings, and it's a long, kind of thin, it almost looks like Deviant Moon kind of card dimensions. And then on the front of each card is the bird that the feather comes from, and a small, I think they're pretty affirmative, pretty positive kind of reflection associated with each. And I would really, really like to work with that Oracle deck at some point. It's on the wish list. How soon that happens, who knows? I feel like right now I've had a bit of a deck influx in ways that is a bit unusual for me. I've, treated myself for my birthday, which was in March. And I have decks sitting on my shelf that I feel like are the ones that I'm going to want to work with next. I don't necessarily feel like running out and buying anything right now, but the Divine Feather Messenger is one that I would really love. Okay, now the next questions there's the next 10 questions, and these are from the Inside the Actors Studio questions questionnaire, which Y has also included in this tag. So here we go. Question number 1 or 11, depending on what we want to say. We'll call it number 11. What is your favorite word? I don't know if I have a favorite word. I think the words are really important and really powerful. But I don't know if I could pick a favorite, and I don't even know how to pick a favorite, whether I should just pick one that I like the sound of the word or pick a word that means something that I really like. I'm not sure. But I know what I'll pick. So I have for this year the Metaphysician's Day Planner by Ben and Belle Wen, which I love, and I will get again for next year. And something that's in that planner is to have a vision statement or word of the year that goes right in the front page. And I picked resilience for this year, and I feel like it's serving me well. And I look at that word often because it's right there in the front of the planner. So I guess I will pick resilience as my word for now, very much with the caveat that I reserve the right to change my mind, and my favorites change frequently. So we'll say resilience is a favorite word. What is your least favorite word? Okay. I watched Wise answers to these questions, and when he answered the least favorite word question, he answered it with a really disgusting, hateful, racist word as a least favorite. And I think for me to say a least favorite word, I'm just gonna say that kind of class of that class of words, those kinds of words that are very powerful and really negative forces in the world. So those kind of hateful, hate-filled words, those are my least favorite words, none of which I'm going to say here, obviously, but I think we know the kinds of words that I am referring to. Number 13, what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally? Being outside, being out in the park, being out on the river, being out camping, being out hiking, is the endless source of inspiration for me. It's where I want to be all the time. It's where I feel the best. So that is my answer there. Number 14, what turns you off? I'm going to take this question because it follows up from the previous as meaning what turns you off creatively, spiritually, or emotionally, for the sake of consistency. And I guess I'll just kind of say the opposite, feeling disconnected from the natural environment around me. And I thought about this a lot recently when I was in Toronto for a conference for like 5 days, 4 nights. And I was kind of right in the downtown with really nothing but cement as far as the eye could see. And I struggled, actually. I don't do well. I don't do well with that. And so that's my creative, spiritual, emotional turn off, that kind of disconnect, for sure. What is your favorite curse word? Fuck. That's my favorite one. Versatile, right? And I probably say it too often, but that'll be my favorite one. Number 16, what sound or noise do you love? I love the sound of water moving. I was just out, my hair's a bit messy and stuff because of this actually. I was just out canoeing today, and I was thinking about this, just closing my eyes and listening to the water on the edges of the canoe, the water on the edges of the lake where we were, rain, the sound of rain, all of those kind of watery sounds I love, with the caveat, because there's always one, right? As long as it's not related to a flood. I have had a bit of flooding issues in my current home, in my basement, and when you hear water and that is what it turns out to be, worst. Like, it is like a sound from hell when that is the reason. But with that small, one aside, the sound of water moving, that is the sound I love. Number 17, what sound or noise do you hate? There's a lot of sounds and noises that I hate, actually. There was some really loud, not very good music playing downtown today. That was a noise that I hated. The noise that I hate is the noise that my cats, or cats in general, I guess, make when they are uncomfortable. Like if I accidentally step on a tail, like even if it's something really minor, and there's no serious injury at all, but that pained sound is horrible and just like hits me hard. That's a noise that I hate. Number 18, what profession, sorry, I have to move the windows here to see, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt? Cool. I like my job. So this is kind of a hard one to think about. I work in university education. I'm passionate about teaching, and I love what I do. So it's hard to think of the idea of making a different profession than the one that I like, and the one that I'm in, and the one that I spent a lot of time getting into. I guess I would just say maybe a profession that feels more creative. Maybe something like, being a musician or making, arts of some sort. I say this with full recognition that is a profession that kinds of professions that I could never have. I don't think that they would be for me, but I think the idea of, artistic production being what you do, like the thing that you do, is really appealing in all kinds of ways. Even though I would never try to make any of those kind of types of professions my profession, but I have respect for them very much, and I can imagine how satisfying it might be, right, to be able to have that as your profession as an artistic person. 19. What profession would you not like to do? Anything mathy. Accounting. With all respect to folks who are in accounting, I would just be terrible at it. And I know that I would not be excited by it. I have not done math in a very long time. I've not been good at math since high school, which was quite a long time ago. Anything like that, I would not like to do. No. Number 20. Last question. Number 20, moving the window again. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates? That's a good one. I mean, I guess the obvious answer is that you would want them to say that you're going in, right? You wouldn't want to hear you came to the wrong place. But I guess beyond that, what I would like to hear at the pearly gates, were there pearly gates? What I would like to hear is that everybody that I would hope would be there, who predeceased me, who I would hope to see again, would be there also. That I think would be the best. And it wouldn't be heaven without that. So that would be my answer. So that's all 20 questions for day 2, but day 1 for me, since I already did the first one, of 7 Days, 7 VRs by Y at On the Cusp Tarot. And this is the Rapid Fire on the Cusp tag. So I will link again below Y's channel, also pretty new Tarot Tube participant, which is great. And I'll link to where the questions for this can be found if you want to respond as well. So thanks so much for sticking with me and kind of stopping by, tuning in. Feel free to subscribe if you would like, and have a great day. Bye.